Dictatorships are on the rise in Southeast Asia. Once democratic countries such as Thailand and Cambodia are now home to rulers looking to solidify their unchecked power. And that could hold deep implications for the future of the region. Joining me from Ottawa for a closer look at why this is happening is political science professor at Carleton University, Elliot Tepper. Professor, thank you for being here.
Oh, good morning.
So let's look at Cambodia. They held an election at the end of July where the ruling party won with a landslide victory. Now, even though it appears democratic on the surface, you say this election further entrenched a long-standing dictatorship. Tell us what you mean by that.
Cambodia has been convulsed since its nominal independence. The Khmer Rouge, remember, conducted a genocidal campaign inside Cambodia, killing upwards of 2 million of its own people in the 70s, and then it was swept away finally by Vietnam, moving its forces and eliminating the regime. They brought along with them a young officer, and he became first foreign minister and then prime minister. His name is Hun Sen, and he's been in power ever since. This was in the early 80s. He has consolidated his power through elections. The opposition parties have been weakened ever since. This is just a consolidation. The opposition party most recently was declared illegal and disbanded. So it's a legitimization of an entrenched power through election in Cambodia.
Well, let's look at Thailand now. The military took control of Thailand during a coup 4 years ago. They promised to restore democracy to the country. Can you tell me what's happened since then and why there's a growing doubt that democracy will ever return?
Thailand has had an alternating pattern of civilian rule and then interrupted by military rule, military coup and rule, since 1932, when the constitutional monarchy was installed. So this is a recurring pattern. Most recently, the political phase of this led to a couple competing political parties. Chaos was reigning. There was stalemate, there was stasis, there was violence. The military came in just over 4 years ago saying, we're not going to stay. We're just here to do what we always do, restore order. But they've now postponed elections, I think, 6 times. They promised most recently it'd be the end of February. Now they're talking about into May. So the military is likely, one way or another, to try to keep some kind of control. They may civilianize their leader, as they have the current prime minister. But Thailand probably will have some role for the military for the foreseeable future.
So we talked about Cambodia, we talked about Thailand. We know of Duterte's brutal drug war in the Philippines, possible ethnic cleansing in Myanmar. Talk to me about what this could mean for the future of the region.
Yes, those two cases are quite dissimilar from each other. They each have their own histories, but essentially Burma, Myanmar, has been under military rule more or less since 1962. They had a slowly expanding but very narrow democratic space since the coming to power of Aung San Suu Kyi, massive election support, but within a constitution where the military still kept control of much of the key levers of power. They are actually in charge of now this crisis over the Rohingyas, where the UN has called it ethnic cleansing. In the case of the Philippines, this was a consolidating democracy. They were there coming back from periods of kind of a civilian military authoritarian rule. They were there bringing to power Duterte by a democratic election, but he clearly has turned in an authoritarian direction since assuming power.
Professor Elliot Tepper, thank you so much for being here today.
Don't give up on democracy in Asia. The people want it.
I appreciate the insight. Thanks so much.